Hello, everybody. It's great to be here one more time today. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm the CEO, president, founder of GSD, Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which is sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company that co-founded with Dr. David Yang. At GSD, we believe that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. And with that, I'd like to introduce my incredible guest today. Martín Fagioli is a co-founder CEO of Foliume, an incredible company using AI to revolutionize how insurance brokers, agents, and banks assurance teams manage everything from quoting to claims. His company isn't just another insurance tech platform. No, they're building a future where AI acts as your digital colleague, integrated digitally into your workflow, even on WhatsApp. It's a brilliant example of how agentic AI is changing the way we work and communicate. His journey from Uruguay to building a global AI company with investors like Pitch Drive, Wayra, and Tiny Seed is a story of innovation, perseverance, and purpose-driven technology. So let's buckle up. We're going to talk about building trust in a data-driven world and how AI agents like Wilfredo I like that name, Wilfredo, are transforming insurance and what the next frontier looks like for startups. So with that, I'd like to bring him on board. Hi, Martín.
Hey, Gary. Nice to meet you. Thanks for the kind introduction. That was great.
Yeah, I know it's great to have you here today. So Fagioli is an Italian name, right?
Indeed. Yeah. My grandparents came all the way from Italy to Uruguay after the Second World War. And this is how my one side of the family started.
Wow. And so tell me a little bit about it. Take me back to the beginning. What inspires you to form the company? And was there a specific pain point in insurance distribution that you felt AI could solve better than anyone else?
Yeah, makes sense. So let me tell a little bit about my background, co-founder background, how we knew each other, and then why we decided to start Foliume back in 2022. So I started management business. I worked in AI consulting since 2015. I mentioned that it was before it was as cool as it is today. So we work with several kinds of companies developing AI custom solutions for them. Before it was more like research side of things, not that much like very practical business use cases. And as long as the technology has been maturing, well, the business cases became more clear. And we work for several industries, most of them in the US, starting from retail. We work with insurance, we work with medical, healthcare. So a lot of opportunities in the AI world. And in 2022, with my co-founder who was working on the technical side of an insurance carrier in Madrid, he told me like there's great opportunity here in the particular space of distribution of insurance. And we already knew each other for a long time. We were longtime friends since we were 15 years old. So we always had this idea to start something. And let's remember 2021, we were just getting out of the first wave of COVID. So it was an important time in our well-being, saying, hey, we should do things that make sense for us and take a little bit of risk. So we decided to both quit our jobs, start this venture, specifically using this technology to make better insurance distribution, as we put it that way. And it took us a little bit of time to iteration in terms of product and also integrating Gen AI, which at the time that we started, it was not there, but we knew something big was coming. So yeah, that's pretty much how we started and how we have been evolving.
So, you're coming from Uruguay and building
Yep.
globally from Spain. Both those is not huge markets, right? I've been to Madrid at the Summit conference, and Uruguay is a beautiful place, but there's a lot of challenges. What kind of challenges and advantage have you experienced as a founder in the InsurTech space?
Yeah, certainly Uruguay is not a big market and not a big country at all. There's a very interesting tech scene in Uruguay happening, but most of these products and even software companies do tend to go outside because our own market is very little. So in Spain, the picture is a bit different, of course, compared to big European giants or even the States. It's not a huge market, but it at least has some depth to start working into it and not needing to go 1 year after to another market because you're getting not enough traction for a larger market. So in terms of the big challenges that we came to, coming from technology, as technology operators, my co-founder with the insurance expertise way more than I was doing back in those days, I was like, how to connect technology to the day-to-day work of these people that are not probably digital native people. So the opportunity of technology versus how they can integrate it, it's a huge gap that we slowly started to reduce. And now that we have a product that it's easy for them to understand, and the technology is just, it's an accessory. They know AI, it's down the line, but they don't care that much that it's AI. They care that it helps them save a lot of time, and of course it brings better customer experience to the customer. So in the end, this is something that we needed to switch the way of thinking and positioning ourselves to.
So tell me a little bit about Wilfredo, and how'd you come up with that name, Wilfredo?
Interesting story. So what we have in Wilfredo is an AI assistant, particularly in WhatsApp, that they can use, the insurance professional can use to ask like ChatGPT, just ask whatever they want, but it comes all integrated into their workflows. So they can send information to get a quote, and Wilfredo does that for them. They can send information to get a renewal, to analyze the market. Wilfredo does that to them and just brings back the results so that they can communicate to the end customer. That's what Wilfredo does. And the great thing is that we brought it into WhatsApp, the most used platform for insurance professionals, because they chat with their customers day to day there, and they have no entry barriers. Everybody knows how to use WhatsApp, and there's no training needed for that platform. And the reason why we came up with the name is we wanted to be like a human name. And then we had in our office, the person, we share office building with multiple startups. And the person that always took care of fixing the Wi-Fi or the tables or the chairs if it had any issue, it was called Wilfredo. So it was like, hey, would you mind if we make a tribute to yourself and we make you the assistant for AI brokers the same way that you help us solve our problems? So that's where the name came in.
Wow, that's amazing. So, you've spoken about believing in sustainable growth, not growth at all costs. How do you maintain that discipline in a market that often celebrates speed over substance?
Yeah, it's crazy, especially in AI startups. Like the multiples of growth have been incredible in this last 12 months, and that is great. And we're all very inspired into that, and probably the market is also benefiting those kind of ventures. However, at least in the market that we are, it's not super easy to grow super fast, especially in the B2B2C space that we are. They're not early adopters of technology. They actually need this to be tested multiple times, and they want colleagues to be using it. Of course, we are probably way faster integrating these solutions to them than it was 5 years ago and probably 15 years ago. But what we need to have is a business model that can sustain by itself with a little bit of venture to grow it as fast as we can, but with the equilibrium of not trying to overestimate the value of our company and then just crashing ourselves in 2 years because we cannot keep up with the valuation, because the market, again, is not moving as fast as we would like to. The insurance market historically has been moving this way. It's doing very good waves in AI, but probably not at the speed as maybe retail or other B2C markets that are doing it. So this is why, yeah, we are trying to find always that equilibrium.
I've had a couple of calls already today, and with all of them were agentic AI companies, right? So a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon, and so there's a lot of noise in the market, and especially in Silicon Valley, where we have our office in Palo Alto. So how do you go above that the competition right now to be successful? And the other thing is, you raised $1 million, but in Silicon Valley, I remember my first raise with Findo in 2016 was 7 million, right? And I know the rounds are smaller in Europe, but it's also a problem, right? Because it's, if you want to go global and you've already given up a percent of your company for the $1 million, how do you do that? It's, when I was over at the South Summit, I had a great time there speaking in Madrid. But how do you do that? How do you get out of that European dilemma, if you will?
Yeah, I see. It has multiple sides of the answer. Let me just start with the amount raised. We build a plan to be quite sustainable in 2 years, growing as fast as we can in the Spanish market, particularly, and be able to at least land in one more market by early 2026. And so this is what we're going to be doing: land one big market. It could be a UK, it could be Germany. We are exploring both of them by the first half of next year. With that in mind, we built this plan that 1 million was good enough. We also, we of course had, once you have your first checks in, you probably know that you have more availability of funds wanting to get you funding, and we had that opportunity, but we didn't want to take much dilution at this stage, because we are, as we see it at least, we are selling at the lowest price of our company as it could be in the future, assuming we will be successful, right? This is our whole bet. If we get there, we're going to be able to raise at a better valuation in our next series, which will probably be by mid next year. And then we would be needing to build a plan on how we can scale in not only 1, but 2 and 3 big markets in Europe. That's at least our game plan, to do it correctly, market by market. And probably the biggest risk is what happens if a competitor just moves faster than we do. And that's why we need to, of course, be balancing, because we have a technology window that is right ahead. But we would like to bet in a way that we are comfortable with sustaining our value in the next 5 to 10 years, and not just because we are able to raise more and to try to accelerate it will, in our mind, just crush it in the next 2 years, because it's very, in a market where growth is not as fast as the market expects, we're probably going to be crashing the company. So this is the decision we make and what we're standing for. So far, it's been so good. The investors are very much into our way of thinking too. So yeah, we appreciate that, and this is how we've been taking decisions and growing so far.
So if you look at it, how do you think small, medium brokers can compete or even outperform big players by leveraging AI assistance?
I think this brings a very good opportunity for them. There's a huge trend in Europe of consolidation of brokers and agents, as it's happening also in the US. And this has to do basically because of 2 things. The first is the ability to get powers of scale with the carriers. So as a broker, you negotiate price deals, incentives with different carriers. And the more that you have, of course, you're going to be negotiating better. And the second piece is to be able to have a better customer experience to your customer. And what I mean with that is, if they have any trouble, if you are part of a larger network, they will probably give you more attention as a carrier to a broker with a larger network than if you are just an individual broker in the middle of north of Spain. But with AI in both sides of the coin, on the one hand, being able to get technology access that could help you grow into a much larger set of customers without growing your headcount on the one hand. So being able to, if you're good at marketing and sales, you'll be able to grow your agency broker way more than you were doing in the past without new headcount. And on the other side, carriers are also bringing AI to be very personal in how they manage customer attention without the need of scaling into multiple call centers. So I think in both ends, this novel technology brings the ability to small and medium businesses to compete with the largest. Of course, the largest ones still have advantage, but in my positive angle of this technology that is now accessible to almost everybody at very low cost, this brings benefits to them.
So cyber insurance adoption among SMEs remains relatively low. What's a missing link in distribution that AI could fix?
Yeah, it's interesting. I just spoke. I do host an insurance distribution podcast too, and I try to speak with founders of InsurTech startups that are trying to move the way insurance is going to be distributed in the next few years. And I actually spoke with the CEO of Stoic. Stoic is a French InsurTech company that they do cyber insurance to SMEs, and they do distribute this through the traditional channel, the broker channel. And we were discussing a lot about this, and like, okay, what is going on? Like, cyber insurance is not, it's a very big problem, but cyber risk is a very big problem. Cyber insurance is not yet there in terms of distribution. Why are you picking like the traditional channel to do this? Shouldn't you do it like B2C, B2B, but direct? And he was telling me like they already trust a broker into all of their other coverages, and what we are bringing in is just another product to their product layer. And they already, like the businesses, as they have an accountant, as they have a lawyer, they have a broker which they trust. Our main goal as a company, he said, Stoic, is to make it super easy to assess risk on the one hand. So the broker should be very easy to assess what is the cyber insurance risk, and we need to help them mitigate these risks as much as we can. So that was their mission. So I think the combination of two, like helping the broker channel be more aware on how to build this product that has build this product awareness that has a lot of technical component, and at the same time trying to help the SMEs reduce the amount of cyber attacks that they have, is probably a good way to go, and it will probably be growing in the next coming years.
Do you envision a world where AI agents negotiate, underwrite, or even manage claims autonomously? And how do you really, how do you address the ethical safeguards that need to be put in place?
I think absolutely, especially for some types of products or risks, that the ability to manage the underwriting and also to manage the claim is not super complex. And in fact, this is already happening. Like if you do Lemonade, for instance, and you have a claim, you just get into it and the claim will be automatically.
I love Lemonade, by the way. We do that with our Basset Hound all the time.
Perfect. Unless they detect some fraud, they will just process it. And they have very good AI models happening to this. They, of course, have controls over this. As in any team that manages claims currently by human beings, there are controls in place that you need to have. And of course, there are other guardrails that you need AI to be put into, that are not only controls of the output, but controls of how they operate to get into that output. That could be racist, it could be a lot of things, and you need to make sure that this is not happening. And probably for big risks, you will have a combination of two. You have AI assessing they're very good at assessing heavy data points, right? Loads of data points. And then on the other side, you will have a very technical person combining with this technology on the underwriting end, on the claims end, to get the output. And I think this is not only the future, but it's already happening.
So, you build an international team from Madrid to Montevideo. How do you keep culture and mission aligned across continents?
Very interesting. So we have two, as we call it, two hubs. We have a hybrid way of working. In Montevideo, we have the engineering hub. So all the team, two times per week, we get together and they work together, and that is very important to keeping the culture. And the culture is not only like enjoying ourselves, but also the continuous deployment, continuous iteration, continuous thinking of the end customer. So that kind of culture, it's hard to get it purely online, at least in my experience. And then on the Madrid hub, it's more on the products, the accounts, the sales side of thing, and they also work 2 to 3 times together in the office, with the ability to continuously be pushing on, or has this customer been growing? What are their new product needs that they have? Are we closing sales? So these two hubs are critical for us to be pushing this culture. And then we have every week, 3 times per week, a 15 minutes update on what is going on, the goods, the bads, and so that everyone feels that they're part of the journey that we are doing together. So I think these two things, hubs, like being able to be physically in locations at least 2 times per week, and the other 3 days to be able to connect online at least 15 minutes all together, share the news, stay aligned with the mission and vision. It's what has been working for us. We're not a big team. We are 14 people. We'll see if this grows to 50, 100 people, how we can sustain that.
Interesting. So what's one lesson you learned from your journey so far that every aspiring founder should remember before starting their own venture? Lessons learned. What have you learned as being an entrepreneur?
Yeah. I think having someone that you trust a lot besides you, it might be super complementary ideally in terms of skill set, but someone that you can feel comfortable saying, the good things that you have been experiencing, the bad things that you have been experiencing, what you're questioning in your mind, like being able to be super transparent with this person, maybe getting to a fight, but knowing that you will be getting back into alignment, that
Do you ever
the
get an argument?
problems
Do you get in arguments with your partner?
with my co-founder partner or partner
Yeah,
spouse, you mean?
you say in meetings, right? You get into disagreements and stuff. How do you go
All the
down,
time. Yeah.
manage? How do you do that, and how do you keep that relationship going? Because it's
Like,
stressful when you're building a company.
yeah, I think this is one of the most critical things. I probably have not been pushing that much because the early days are struggle, the late days are struggle. Like you start increasing the barrier, and this is part of the game, and this is what you like. So what we try to do always, and this took us a little bit of alignment in the early days, but it's try to like separate from the problem. It's like it's not a problem between Gary and myself. It's a problem that Gary and myself are trying to figure out. So what take away the ego from those kind of discussions and try to figure out the solution for that problem outside of ourselves. Then if I can do better to solve that problem, you will be telling me. If you could do better, I will be telling you. And this kind of trust that, again, it's not from day zero. It's something that you start needing to build. But if you already have some trust built from before, you work together, you were in school together, probably helps a lot to pave the way and to make it easier for you. So yeah, this is something that at least for myself has been critical. We are yet to be super successful, but at least it's been a necessary condition to keep this moving 4 years now.
No, it's great. And finally, if you could give up, look at yourself back. Let's say you're a 40-year-old looking at a 20-year-old version of yourself. What's one piece of advice about innovation resilience? What would that piece of advice be?
Innovation resilience. This is probably a super cliche, but try to do things out of curiosity and not because the market is just trying to get you into it. If you then combine both of them, that'll be great. But follow your curiosity, because that is the only thing that will keep you motivated to keep digging, because it's not an easy journey. So yeah, that'll probably be my take.
So Martin, what are some closing thoughts and how do people get a hold of you?
And how people, sorry, what was the end?
Closing thoughts and how do people get a hold of you? How can they reach you?
So I think we are living in a revolution era, of course, of AI right now. There's probably a good shift of how every industry is working. Insurance is the case too. It's probably not the first industry that you will be thinking of when trying to build a startup, but it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of problems that are happening day to day, and probably this is moving as fast as it's been moving in the past years. So very interesting space if you want to dive into. You still need to get into it with a bit of time. Like, don't expect to be a lovable or a replicate from day zero, but you can get there. There's a lot of money moving in the insurance industry. And to get into us, well, you can get into Foliume.com. That's Foliume with an E at the end. Or you can email me into martin@foliume with an E at the end.com. And I'll be happy to reach out to anybody that's interested in the insurance world, in how the brokers will be operating in the near future. And if, of course, they want to know our services, happy to get into it.
That's great. Martin, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. And if you want to stay on for a few minutes after we're done with the show, we can talk if you've got the time. And to all my audience out there, thank you very much for joining one more time. GSD presents Top Global Startups. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'm your host. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. And thanks to all of you. We're closing on 1,500 podcasts that we've done. So it's thanks to all of you all over the world. GSD now has 180 companies in our portfolio from 73 countries around the world. So we believe, as our name is, to get shit done. And it's not about the talk, it's about the action. So thanks a lot. And thanks, Martin, for joining us today.
A pleasure, Gary. Thanks a lot for the invite.
Thank you.